So, the big news in F1 over the past week has been Honda deciding to step away from F1 after 2021 as an engine manufacturer. Now, I think it's fair to say that whilst this was very surprising, I think it's also fair to say that it wasn't massively out of the blue either, because there were hints, even going back to last season, that Honda were not 100% committed to Formula 1. Now, I wanted to let the situation have some time to breathe and see what the reaction would be afterwards from both the teams, Honda and the fans as well. And whilst in this video I will be talking about the Honda and Red Bull angle in terms of why they decided to go and where all of this leaves Red Bull, more so than anything else I'm going to be talking about Max Verstappen and where exactly he fits into all of this, and why I think he will definitely be more than just a little bit frustrated at Honda leaving Red Bull and Formula 1. Now, before we delve into the Max aspect of all of this, I want to quickly give my thoughts on the exit of Honda and their recent history in Formula 1. Now, Honda has been one of the most successful engine manufacturers in the history of the sport. Out of the 42 engine manufacturers that have actually entered a Grand Prix in Formula 1, they currently rank 5th on the all-time Grand Prix wins list, behind Renault, Ford, Mercedes, and Ferrari. Now, not only have they been successful, but I think it's also fair to say that they have powered some of the most iconic F1 cars of all time, like the timeless camel-liveried Lotus Honda 99T, the championship-winning Williams cars of 86 and 87, driven by Mansell and Piquet. What a combination that was, by the way, and most famously being part of the legendary McLaren and Senna partnership of the late 80s. So Honda has directly been involved in some of the most amazing pieces of F1 history, and I feel like even as a brand, there is a lot of love for Honda in Formula 1, certainly from my side. I'm a big fan of the brand, but in terms of the hybrid era, they returned to the sport back in 2015, looking to recapture some of their late 80s success, repartnering with McLaren. Now, needless to say, I think we all know what happened during the next 3 years. Mistakes from both Honda and McLaren basically left the two a laughingstock, as the once great McLaren team was left racing at the back of the field, and that's, by the way, when the cars actually worked. And on top of that, the relationships were broken, bridges burned, and a driver's legacy basically destroyed. So yeah, to be honest, I think I speak for everyone when I say I want to erase those 3 seasons from my mind. So yeah, let's just move on from there. Leaving McLaren at the end of 2017 and joining forces with the Red Bull family, including the sister team Toro Rosso as it was known at the time, seemed like a monumental step forward for both parties. And so far, in the 1.5 years that they've been with Red Bull and the 2.5 years that they've been with AlphaTauri, they've managed to get 4 race wins, 2 pole positions, and 20 podiums between the two teams. And considering how much pain Honda went through with McLaren and the dominance of Mercedes during this time, I would say that the progression that Honda have made with Red Bull not only exceeded the expectations of people like me who were still a little bit skeptical of Honda after 2017, I genuinely think that Honda and Red Bull have been a huge success and shown a lot of potential in the future to challenge the likes of Mercedes for world titles. However, that was then and this is now, and just when you thought that everything was looking up for Red Bull in the future, Honda have decided and announced that they are going to leave F1 and Red Bull at the end of the 2021 season. Now, as far as why Honda have decided to leave F1, they say it's because of a shift in the company's philosophy to dedicate more time and money into researching, developing, and creating more electric vehicles, so that beginning in 2030, 2/3 of all of the cars that they sell will be electric. And clearly from the F1 angle, the engine blueprint which F1 has for the future didn't excite or encourage them enough, and the potential success with Red Bull and the commercial value that they could gain as a result just isn't worth the money that they invest into Formula 1 for it to be worth it to them, especially with the company becoming more invested into full EV vehicles. So switching over to the Red Bull perspective, obviously that now means that they are left without a power unit for the 2022 season, when of course the brand new regulations will be introduced, and that is a very critical point because that's probably the best chance Red Bull have of actually challenging Mercedes for a title, especially looking at how the season has gone on in 2020. However, the only realistic option for a power unit at the moment is Renault, because Mercedes already powers 4 teams on the grid as of next year, and Toto Wolff on more than on occasion has said that he will block a move for a Mercedes power unit at Red Bull. And when it comes to Ferrari, again, they already power 3 teams on the grid. And let's be honest here, looking at how 2020 has gone for them so far, there isn't exactly a line going out of Maranello of people wanting a Ferrari power unit, which only leaves Renault, who will only power themselves beginning of next year and definitely have a power unit to spare, although we know that there is already some bad blood and some bad history between the two. And could you imagine a Renault and Red Bull reunion? I mean, that just has its own Netflix Drive to Survive episode right there. Now, moving away from the Honda and Red Bull side of things, because there is so much more to talk about with that whole situation and the implications of it as well, and what it means for not just Red Bull, but Formula One as well, which, to be honest, is probably something I want to go into in much more detail in another video, maybe even with someone else on the channel. So yeah, definitely let me know if you guys would like to see that in the comments box below. But where does all of this leave Max Verstappen? Now, let's just really quickly get some facts out of the way first, because Max Verstappen at the beginning of 2020 did sign a new contract extension with Red Bull, which should see him at the team until the end of 2023. Now, there was word going around that as part of that contract is an exit clause if Honda decided to leave. However, Christian Horner himself has said that there is no such clause in his contract. So from the team's perspective, Max can't leave, although just remember that this is the same team that said that Pierre Gasly would definitely see out the 2019 season before dropping him 2 weeks later. So yeah, it's not always easy to trust the word of Red Bull. In terms of what Max must be thinking right now, however, obviously I'm not going to pretend like I know him or that we DM after every single race on Instagram. Maybe one day, never say never. But he must be frustrated at the news that Honda are stepping away from F1, because I've said time and time again that in my opinion, Max is the only driver that can actually challenge Hamilton over the course of a full season. And that's the key thing right there, over the course of a full season, because no doubt that young talents in the right car like Leclerc, Russell, or even Norris might be able to challenge Hamilton in the odd race there and there on tracks that suit their cars, but no one outside of Lewis Hamilton at the moment has the speed, the Formula One IQ, and the consistency over the course of a full season other than Max Verstappen. The steps he took in 2019 and 2020 have shown me that F1 right now, it evolves around Max and Lewis for different reasons, sure, but those two are just a step above the rest in Formula One right now. And I've felt for a long time that frustration must be building for Max, because with all of this hype over the new generation, these new young drivers, and of course Max is not exactly old himself, but with all of this brand new hype, let's not forget that Max is ready to win a title right now if given a car capable of actually fighting for them. And this Honda setback is huge, because to beat the mighty Mercedes, it isn't just good enough to match them in the engine department, you have to go out there and beat them outright. And with Honda being Red Bull's sole focus and developing their engines specifically to win for Red Bull, I actually saw potential in one day Honda being able to not only match Mercedes, but beat Mercedes on the engine side, and for the Red Bull Aero team as well to get their act together and give their drivers a good car at the beginning of the season, and not just halfway through the season when Lewis Hamilton was already 100 points ahead in the championship. So yeah, the problem with going down the Renault option is that, especially in the hybrid era with just how important power units are, is that they will always be the number 2 priority, because Renault have their own team and want to win races and championships themselves, which is totally understandable from their perspective. Again, all of this leaves doubt, in my opinion, over Max Verstappen's commitment and future at Red Bull. Taking away from the contract issues, which we don't know categorically if they're true or false, because if a driver really wants to break a contract, they will find a way to do it. I mean, as an example, if say a Mercedes seat becomes available for 2021 because a certain 6 or 7-time world champion decides to surprisingly leave F1, best believe Max Verstappen is going to find a way to break his contract and be in that Mercedes. But going away from that speculation, what shining light does Max really see at Red Bull for the future? Unless they nail the 2022 aero regulations and somehow Renault also just knock it out of the park with their engine to where Red Bull actually have a title challenging package, is Max just destined to spend the next 3-4 years of his prime in which he should be challenging for world championships, just always finishing 2nd and 3rd? I don't really see Max being satisfied with that at all, and in the end, no one knows how Max is feeling right now or what the future holds for him after this Honda bombshell. But if I was Max, I would seriously take a hard look at Red Bull and seriously try to reassess my options for the next few years, because if a Mercedes seat does become available in 2021, then this is a whole different conversation. But if it doesn't, which is obviously the more likely option, Mercedes are one day going to be challenged again by another team for a world title. I really hope so, by the way. And Max really needs to make sure that he is either in that Mercedes or in the car that is challenging them, because he needs to make the right decision now to make sure he does not get left behind in the future. Well guys, there you go. That is my video talking about the departure of Honda from Formula 1 and what it means for both Red Bull and more specifically Max Verstappen. Now let me know all of your thoughts in the comments box below, and also let me know if you would like to see another more in-depth video in terms of what this means for F1, because there are so many implications of the Honda exit. And also, who would you like to see in that video, because I'd love to do a collaboration with someone else, because obviously to get another voice in I think would be amazing and kind of switch up the content as well. So yeah, who would you like to see on the channel? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway guys, I hope you did enjoy this video, and if you did, then don't forget to drop a like, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to check out my social medias. Instagram and Twitter will be above. But guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.